Welcome back to Saurav Insight. In a world full of noise and constant scrolling, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. My goal isn't to add to that noise, but to help you to filter it, to connect the dots, so that you can find a moment of clarity. You're hearing my real voice right now, but I use an AI voice for the episodes to keep things smooth and easy to digest. The delivery is digital, but the heart is human. Let's get started.
Last time, you were pretty tough on Kathmandu's leaders. You basically called them bulldozer operators with no blueprints.
I did, and I stand by it.
But today we're pivoting. Why are you turning that critical lens on yourself now?
Because, honestly, it's humbling. I don't love admitting this, but it is incredibly easy to look at a mayor and demand system design. It is way harder to look in the mirror and realize I didn't have one either. For most of my life, I wasn't an architect. I was just a guy randomly laying bricks.
So you were just improvising your life.
Completely.
What's an example of that?
My A-levels. I chose them literally because someone told me I wouldn't have to memorize formulas. That was my grand strategy. I played music, bounced between bands. I just reacted to whatever came next.
But at the same time, you were heavily involved in politics and youth leadership in Nepal, right? That takes planning.
Yeah, and that's the embarrassing part, actually. I threw myself into nation building. I was so passionate about the big picture for the country, but I completely ignored the architecture of my own life. Even when I started my business later, I had this massive vision, but zero blueprint. I kept thinking it would make sense later. It didn't.
So what finally broke that cycle? Because something clearly shifted when you got to London.
London wasn't a movie moment. It was just a constant drumbeat. Every university assignment, every CPD framework, they kept hammering the exact same question. Where is your alignment?
Was there a specific moment where it really clicked?
Yeah, I had a one-on-one with a university career instructor. He sat down, looked at the scattered history of my life, the bands, the think tanks, the startups, and he actually mapped it out. He connected the dots and showed me the skills I had been accumulating.
And then?
He pushed the paper back across the table, looked at me, and asked, "Now, what do you want to build in the future?"
Wow.
Yeah, I realized I had ambition, but no architecture. So I went back to my journals. During a darker phase, I used journaling just to survive. In London, I opened them again. But this time, instead of just dumping my thoughts, I actually started organizing them.
You've talked before about retreating to the quiet zone and stepping away from the algorithm. How did that fit in?
It was essential. Stepping out of the algorithm brought this wave of irritability at first. My mind was addicted to constant noise. But when that faded, the clarity hit. I started noticing patterns in how I think and writing them down.
Did it change your day-to-day reality?
The biggest return hasn't even been professional. It's deeply personal. Between my full-time job, personal projects, and university, I'm busier than I have ever been. Yet the time I give to my wife and my daughter is completely different now.
How so?
How so? I used to be the guy who is physically in the room, but mentally 1,000 miles away. Today, when I am with them, I am 100% present. I used to think structure would trap me. It didn't. It actually freed me.
That's a powerful shift. How does this realization change how you look at the leaders you critiqued last week?
It still makes me critical because I know how easy it is to confuse movement with construction, to drive the dozer and think you're building. But I also know that drawing the blueprint is the absolute hardest part.
So where does Saurav Insight go from here?
This space is just becoming intentional. I'm not an expert in national infrastructure. I'm just a citizen trying to align his own dots. But I realize something uncomfortable. When I criticize without building anything myself, it's just noise. I'm still figuring it out, but at least now I'm building.
I think a lot of us are. Thanks for sharing this, Saurav.